Warm greetings from the high 10. It's Everyday Shenanigans. Thanks for joining me. Hello, Joelle. How are you? Thanks for tuning in, sweetheart. I have more commentary pertaining to the disappearance of Summer Wells. It is pertaining to Equusearch, commentary pertaining to Mr. Rader, his crew that come here to find his child. Director, the Midwest Director of Equusearch, Mr. David Rader. Basically, he's saying he's keeping the faith and trying to find this child. Thank you all so much for joining me. 6 viewing. I got only 1 in the chat. That's okay. Thanks so much anyway. I'll let a few of you get in. Hello, Soul Survivor. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Hope everybody is well, staying cool in these warm temperatures. It is warm in most parts of the U.S., so please stay cool and hydrated. Amen. Hope you all have a prosperous week. Thank you so much for joining me. Hello, Marcella. How are you doing, sweetheart? I'm going to have to backload this article. Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining me. WJHL is the source. I'm still going to keep the faith. Equusearch Midwest reports no leads out of weekend summer well search. Possible return to the field. Waiting for it to load. Thank you so much for joining me. 20 viewing, amen.
It's been 41 days since Summer Wells was reported missing by her parents in Hawkins County. With temperatures in the 90s and overgrown vegetation all over the Youngville range, tells us professional search crews are having no luck finding the 5-year-old who don't plan on her. Today, for a second day, crews with Equusearch Midwest have asked us not to share their exact search location with the public, but they say they are covered through every area of brush, field, and forest in Beach Creek. Though we cannot film them, crews tell me they walk close to each other slowly through the areas surrounding the Beach Creek community. I'm told that if they do spot something, they back out slowly in the same direction they came from, so as to not disturb any evidence they may come upon. Crews say the terrain is tough, but they can handle it because it's what they train for. There's a lot of deer paths, a lot of wildlife that going through, so it's difficult sometimes to tell and distinguish that word. Most of us are trained that we can distinguish that and just go through, and at the slow pace we pick everything up for anything that doesn't belong. If the search crews actually do come upon something they consider evidence, they will call in law enforcement to determine whether it is in fact evidence. But if the search Midwest members don't have the reason, the director tells me searchers relay findings to incident commander Tim Cook.
This is that information. Thank you all so much for joining me. Might have been a little bland as far as the audio, so I'm using a different device to play the audio because I have to send my baby back out for repairs. But I'm going to go ahead and read the said information. WJHL is the source. Okay. Channel 11 News, WJHL is the source if you need verification. Professional searchers reported no new leads following a weekend search for missing 5-year-old Summer Wells. Nearly a month after search crews packed up operations in Beech Creek, nonprofit group Equusearch Midwest was back in the Beech Creek area. It's very thick. I mean, the terrain is it's brutal. It's unforgiving. Equusearch Midwest Director David Rader said of the search, "We're doing everything that we possibly can to bring her home. I would love for her to come walking through that door. I would love for somebody to drop her off if she was abducted." With temperatures in the 90s and overgrown vegetation, News Channel 11 found out professional search crews are having no luck finding the 5-year-old, excuse me. We just look for anything, any brush or any growth that has been disturbed unnaturally. There's a lot of deer paths, a lot of wildlife that, will go in through. So it's difficult sometimes to tell and distinguish that part. But most of us are trained that we can distinguish that, and we just go through at a slow pace. We kick everything up looking for anything that doesn't belong. Every search that we do is different than the last that we did. Every terrain, every detail is entirely different, Gary Stafford, volunteer searcher, said. Stafford said that the nonprofit asked the public not to aid in the search in case someone not trained in search and recovery happened to potentially destroy evidence. We always have eyes going forward. So when we're walking through, we're going at a slow pace and being very extremely careful to not disturb anything. And if we would come upon something that doesn't look right, we would holler for a team lead. They would come in and assess the situation, and if it's something pertinent, we would all back out the exact same way we came in to not disturb anything as well, he explained. The pace that we go and the distance that we put between each other searching, we keep it tight, and we go slow enough to where we don't go over anything. Some searches we do or bone searches, and we leave no leaf unturned. So we kick up anything and everything going through that area. So it's a lot of on-the-job training, and everybody's together. Rader explained that though the group only utilized the boots on the ground search method, they had other tools at their disposal. We have remote control sonar that we can put into a body of water that we can we can put it in, and within 15 minutes, no butts in that body of water without putting divers in. We have high-tech drones that if we feel that we have an area that really needs to be looked at, we have what's called infrared, near infrared, which means that this camera can actually detect if a piece of ground has been disturbed from the air. So then basically, if you get that damage, we can send 1 or 2 persons to find out what that anomaly is instead of sending a whole group. So there's a lot of new toys in our toy box that's on our disposal, but this weekend, the only thing that we're actually using is actually boots on the ground, he said. Rader mentioned Saturday that the group searched virgin territory that had not been searched after summer was initially reported missing. We knew that, they had this circle around the house that they had already just hit it hard. And we felt that at that point in time, she's not in that area. I mean, as time went on, things were going against her as far as if there was no food, no water. This girl would have been in dire straits, and to have the amount of people that were there on that search originally not to find her, I can almost guarantee you she's not there, period, unless she was put back there afterward. Now, is that a possibility? Anything's on the table. But what prompted us to come back is we knew that law enforcement and these I'm understanding how to write this. And these rescue teams don't have the resources and they don't have the money to keep going, Rader said. As a nonprofit, Equusearch operates on donations and do not have a strict budget to adhere to. So we kind of have a little bit more flexibility to where we can come in and actually just keep this expanding the circle. And so that's where we come into play, Rader's right. If the search crews actually did come upon something they consider evidence, they would call in law enforcement to determine whether it is in fact evidence. but Equusearch members don't come in contact with law enforcement for any other reason. Raider said searchers relayed findings to Incident Commander Tim Koo. After I finish with what we're going to do, I'll give him all of my paperwork of what areas that we've covered, said Raider. So then that way he can incorporate it into law enforcement. So he's kind of my liaison. That way you don't get too many hands in the fire and then you get all this miscommunication. So we have this rapport going back and forth with us. While the recent search didn't turn up any usable leads, Raider said the Equusearch team hasn't given up and could return to the field. This content was uploaded July 25th, 17:14 p.m., which is yesterday. WJHL 11 News is the source. Hello, everybody in the chat. Thank you so much. Give me 1 second. I need to just step away for 1 minute. Thank you so much for joining me. Hold on. Trying to diffuse some of the background noise. Hope you all can hear the audio. WJHL is the source if you want to hear the audio from the from that commentary. Oh, thank you so much for joining me. If you want to donate to the channel, $ Big Angie 129 Cash App. All donations are accepted through super chats as well during the live stream. Thank you so much. I'm going to go ahead and get started with the interview room. He's released more commentary. And uploaded content on the YT, and I'm going to get to that here in just a second. Thank you so much for joining me. All righty. I want to say this starting out pertaining to the search. I've got a feeling that perhaps there's information that's been given to why they came back to Tennessee to search the areas that they searched. As noted in this commentary, there was virgin territory that was searched. So I feel like possibly some information has been given to this search team, Equusearch, where to search. And that's my personal opinion. Could I be wrong? Of course, but that's just my personal opinion. I do believe information was given. I do believe perhaps some things have come back from forensics, such as technology. And I believe that is the reason why they came back and searched. Naturally, they will not tell us this. The team won't tell us anything, nor will law enforcement, TBI, etc., as not to tank their investigation. That is to be expected. Thank you all. Hello, Nubian. Welcome from the UK. Thank you so much, honey, for joining us. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and get started here. I can read my notes. I've got so many. Hello, everybody. Crazy day. Thank you so much. I hope my camera, everything will hold up while I don't know. She's acting a little fuddy-duddy now. She wants to not behave well. Okay. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay. Crazy hair day, don't mind me. All right. This interview, the interview room, this is pertaining to the disappearance of Summer. Basically, Mr. Chris doesn't give his opinion pertaining to what he thinks happened, who he thinks all involved, as because we know he is currently talking to these people, Boy H, the mother, and now Miss Candy. So naturally, he's not going to give his personal opinion because he wants to keep good relations with these said parties. He does believe there's some truth to H's story, but naturally, the door is open on all commentary that's been brought forth pertaining to all these people talking. The interesting part about all this is Candy says the sequence is not right, which means what exactly? What you all did, going, coming back, what? What part of the story that H gave is out of sequence. The interesting part about that commentary from Candy Bly is that she doesn't deny the places that they went to, but she's saying the sequence is out of order that H revealed in the said interview. Interesting. Grandma told Allie that Candace didn't want a girl. This is what was relayed in this commentary. So why would she want another boy? This is what I was curious about. Why would Allie, if I'm to believe the allegations that Allie has repeated to Mr. Chris, why would Candace Bly not want a girl child? You would think a person who's had several boys, few boys, they would want a girl, but it is your option to desire what you want as far as your children. I'm just asking, why would she not want a girl if I'm to believe these allegations? The allegations about her being jealous of her child, is this true or not? What made Allie say that, think that? Did she get that feeling from her in her dealings with her that she was jealous of her girl child? Did the grandmother ever tell anything about her being jealous of her girl child? The other two children that she no longer has in her custody, are those girl children? That's what I'd like to know. Is there some certain reason she does not care for girl children? Does she care for girl children? Just like to know. Why would the grandmother tell Allie this about her not wanting a girl child? I think that's very strange. A mother would confide to a stranger about her daughter's preference. If we're to believe this is an actual conversation between Candace and her mother, why would you then, grandma, go back and tell Allie what your daughter said to you in confidence? Is it because you and Allie had a good rapport? You trusted her to tell her this information? I'm curious about that. Will grandma respond to these allegations of what's being said now about what she's repeated to Allie? Is she going to respond? Because the word in the street is that she has a, what is the word I'm looking for? A go-to speaker for her, representative. Is that even true? Where is she? Some of you are speculating that grandma is gone somewhere, visiting, moved. I don't know. As I state, I don't go by what I hear on the YT or Facebook until I hear it out of a person's mouth that they have left, they're doing this, they're doing that. That's how I work. Well, I don't know. Okay. The version that Candy is going to give to Mr. Chris in this upcoming commentary today, will it be the truth of what took place on June 15th? And as I said, never did she deny what H said, just that the sequence was out of order. And once again, what is the appropriate order of what took place on the 15th? I mean, I'd like to know. Allie mentioning the store where the vapes were purchased. She got that wrong. Mr. Chris says there was a discrepancy with that. See, this is where I have a problem with that commentary there. First of all, once again, as I state, I don't think it was appropriate for this child to speak due to the fact it's an open investigation, and he was one of the last people to see the child alive. That's first and foremost. Open investigation. Why are you talking to him? Obviously, you got permission from his mom to talk to him, but I have a problem with that. Is it a good investigation tool? Of course, as he stated all throughout this commentary, law enforcement wants people to talk, so eventually they will trip up and tell something. But my thing is, he's not an actual investigator in the case, so it's like, okay, we now have to see what is the truth and what is not the truth, which we were already doing that anyway from the version the mom and dad gave in the beginning of the story, which led us to this saga of a missing child. All we had was their version, and then Miss Allie, the mouthpiece, running to the law book and YT to give her 411 on what allegedly happened between she and Miss Bly, allegations of abuse of the child, and now all this other shenanigans of men swapping and this and that. Just a lot of foolishness. But in the end, all of it is he said, she said, to me, my opinion. Why, Allie, did you get the store wrong where the vapes were bought? Because once again, you were not present with them, or were you? Were you there too? I'm just asking because I want to know why you're talking about which store they went to And Mr. C lets it be known it was a discrepancy on Allie's part. So as I say, why is she talking? I'm wondering everything that's been said on this interview between all parties now. Is it what was told to law enforcement? So everything we're hearing now from H, mother intervening, also now he's talking to Miss Candy Bly. Possibly he'll get to speak to Don if Don decides to talk to him. Will it be the same information they've given law enforcement? That's one thing I'm curious about. The Walmart incident. What actually happened at Walmart between Candy Bly and Allison? What words were spoken? Who said what to whom first? I find it odd that Mr. Chris didn't delve deeper into the asking Allie what happened. Now, basically, he says it's an open information that you can get from law enforcement about the OR or whatever happened. She was cited a citation. Okay, well, my thing is, you've opened Pandora's box. Why not finish it? Why not finish it? Why not say, well, what happened? And he's basically saying she mentioned the Alley matter of factly to allude to the fact that possibly there was some truth to whatever happened at Walmart. But what happened? That's what I like to know. What actually happened at Walmart? What was said? Who said what to whom? Why was Candy cited? Did she become unruly, rude, loud in the stores where she drew attention to where they had no choice but to call law enforcement? Who called law enforcement? Store clerk, patrons, or Allie? Who called the law? Is this over a man? All this running to the YT and Facebook. Allison Mulani, is this over a man? Are you slighted by her because of a man that you originally had, dated, slept with, whatever the arrangement was, and then she later went in behind you and slept with him? So is this over this guy that you two both shared or intertwined with at some point? Because I'm starting to wonder why you have come out publicly to speak against Candace Bly, and why you will let your son stay in this lady's company after you have brought allegations against her for abusing her child and locking her child in a hot basement with locks on either side. That is a very serious allegation to put against a person, and then to only let your child be in her company makes no damn sense to me. And anybody saying, so I'm going to ask you again, Allison Mulani, why did you continuously deal with this lady? Why did you allow your child to be in her company? Your child's been talking to her as if he was dating her. It's very suspect behavior on both parts, quite frankly. But he's a child, so we give him a pass because he's a kid. And he can only do what you allow him to do. Amen. Is there more to this story pertaining to Allison and Candace Bly? What is their real relationship? Because there's something off between those two as well. And as far as allegations being on file with CPS, were there allegations on file before Summer went missing? That's what I'd like to know. And if so, why now? Children removed. And allegedly, he's saying he had no knowledge that the children were removed in this said commentary. So were the children removed, or were they just sent with family to get out of the way of busybody people gawking at the children's safety? What is the truth? Excuse me. Turn all this noise down. Sorry about that. What is the truth? Are there allegations on file before the child went missing? That's a very important question. Because then it would show just cause if perhaps the children were removed. They were removed because there was already allegations, or H talking publicly got the ball crumpled for CPS, DHS to step in. If Candy was working with Don on Friday, the Friday that just previously passed, who had the children? If Mr. Chris doesn't believe that the children are in the state's care, well, then I ask this question. who were watching the children if allegedly she went to work with Don. I'll wait. This is what leads me to think that the children are in the state's care or with somebody else. Because once again, who would be watching your children? Who's watching your children if you work with Don on Friday? Hello, everybody in the chat. Thank you. He said, she said. That's all I know about this storyline. All this conversation, interviews, it's nothing but he said, she said. You don't even know what's the truth. Because now we're getting contradictory statements about a damn vape store. I mean, come on. It's ridiculous to me. It's a little late for everybody talking now, considering Summer's probably deceased. And maybe had somebody call the police with the allegation of abuse, the child would be seen, visible, alive, all of the above. But she is not. So why are we now talking about Don and Candace Bly and what they did 5 days ago, 2 weeks ago, a year ago? You see, all that means nothing now because a child is missing and possibly deceased, laying out in the elements, waiting to be discovered, recovered. So does it matter now that you're hearing stories about who shot JR, who slept with whom, what vape store somebody went to, who got a damn slushie from Sonic's? Stay woke. Does it even matter at this point? Just asking. Does it matter? Because I don't even think we're going to get the truth about what took place on June 15th. Chris does believe there was some alcohol and abuse possibly pertaining to the children. And as I stated, he doesn't really give too much of an opinion due to the fact he's having conversations with these people, and that's to be expected to keep a rapport with them. Is anybody considering all this talking may harm Summer's case down the road if there are arrests? Because, you know, people do tend to backtrack what they've said. Does anybody think about that? If there's ever a suspect or suspects arrested, all this talking and chattering, will it hurt or be helpful down the road if there's a trial? And he knew better talking to this child, but he's talked to him anyway. And I'll tell you something that's very interesting. Candy is saying that the conversation H gave was out of sequence. But the interesting thing, she didn't deny anything he said. It was not true. And then we go back to what Don said about Allie and H speaking. They don't know what they're talking about. But yet your wife is not denying there's truth to what H said. Come on, stay woke. I've been woke. I think the search team is on to something. That's my opinion. I really do. I think they're on to something. I believe Allie believes this lady is behind this disappearance of this child. She believes Candace Bly is behind the disappearance of this child. And then she says she don't know. So he's thinking perhaps she's pondering this in her head. That maybe she does know something, but she's not revealing it. And then we think about her son being involved, being a witness. Is that possible that she knows something, she sensed something, he said something, but they're carrying a lie? Who's to say? Because we don't know these people. Is this story going to help H down the road? That's why Allie let him talk. Souping up more information so it'll look good on their behalf that they are now bringing the 411 pertaining to Candace Bly. Let's give them all we can, even if some of it's not the truth, because we got to get you out of this mess. As he states in his commentary, let them lie. That's what law enforcement says. Let them talk. Let them keep talking, I guess. But as I state, are these same versions been told to TBI and the local sheriff's department and police department, or just here on the YT with the interview room. I wonder, has law enforcement talked to Candy and Don about H's story and his commentary? And if they have not, will they? Well, Crime Story, I'll tell you, that's why I said we have to decide, and is this going to be the best idea, him talking to this kid? Because people can always change their story when they go to court. People do it all the time. People do it all the time. Once again, has Ellie talked to Candace since H gave the 411 last week? And if they talked to her, what did they ask her? Did they ask, well, hey, he said this, Ellie said this, you didn't tell us this. What's this all about? Just saying. Chris's opinion pertaining to H's testimony in this interview is about 100% accuracy, some degree. Allie, absolutely. Some accuracy, I guess. Oh, maybe I'm rereading that. I'm going to read what he said. 20% rather. I think he probably believes more of the stuff that Alex told him. I'm still trying to ponder over this Candy business, the wrong order. Then if it's the wrong order, then what is the truth to the order? So Candy, we'll wait to see what you have to say in that interview with Chris. And what order are you going to spin it? Because now we have to ask ourselves, why would a child lie about where he went that day? You got picked up. You went here, you went there, you went there, you went there, then you got dropped off. How would he not remember where he went? Would he be that forgetful? I'm just curious. I'm very curious all this. Will it matter the order? Do we really care about the order of the sequence of everything? Will it be helpful? Because like I tell you, everything is he said, she said, so therefore you don't know what you're listening to. You're listening to different versions from people. Grandma ain't talking. Don was allegedly not there. No, the children were there. The one that was there, she's missing. So that leaves H and Candy. And now Candy is saying, at first, days ago, why is he making this up? So which is it? He's making it up or it's out of sequence? So you have to be careful the words you use. Because as I say, the words you use can't be taken back once you say it. So is he making it up, the whole story of what y'all did that day? Or he's making up the story about the baby in the water? Because now you're saying he's got the sequence wrong, but you're not denying where you actually went. I'm confused. Chris made a comment about, are we hindering by listening to and repeated, gossip, he said, she said, social media. But guess what? Chris, you've given them a platform to give the 411 or the 211. So that's kind of confusing to me. Because you can't be teeter-tottering on the fence. You either on or you off. Ain't no halfway in. That's what the street says. You either in or you out. Ain't no halfway in. So to say, are we hindering by listening to he said, she said, and Facebook and rumors? Well, we're basically listening to them by you interviewing them. Is that not correct? Come on, Queen. Just saying. Okay. All this business with Candy and Allie talking after the fact. What is the truth to all this chitter chattering? Candy contacting this boy. Very interesting. Candy FaceTiming her, allegedly under the influence. A Leslie was present. TBI was there. This is after the child goes missing, of course. Granny's outside with TBI, if I'm not mistaken. But Candy didn't want to talk to them, which doesn't make any sense. She claimed she was tired and she had to go to the police department the next morning. So after the child goes missing, Candy is FaceTiming Allison, calling her, talking to her, I guess, crying on her shoulder about her child missing. But the odd thing is, why would you not want to talk to TBI, the police department? It makes no sense. I just don't understand why you wouldn't want to talk to the people that's supposed to be trying to help you find your kid. It doesn't make any sense. I think the pieces will be put together from forensics and phone calls, because as most of you know, they took their devices. So they're checking all of that. Well, April, that's the whole point of the story, sweetheart. We don't know what's the truth. That's what I've always said from the beginning. See, you're teetering. You don't know. None of us know what's the truth with these people. We don't know what all H said is the truth. We don't know all what Allie has said is the truth. We're just listening. And like I said, everything's about perception. I don't know what's the truth between these people. I just try to understand why would a child lie. But then I also have to remember he was also there. So could it be he could be souping up a few little things as to try to, clear his own path, because he knows what people are saying about him on social media and his mother. So see, we don't really know what is the truth. And now we have her coming forward saying things about the timeline, that they're out of sequence, but yet she's not denying where they went. She's just saying the order isn't correct. So now we have to ask ourselves, like I just said, what is the appropriate order? I do believe something's come back. I do. I believe something's come back with the pinging of the devices. And as I stated, I believe that's why Equusearch is here. And TBI knows something. They're just not telling us what it is. And I'm just curious to whatever TBI has or come across, if indeed something has come across their desk, does it correlate to what Candy has said in her news interviews, her and Mr. Don Wells, and what they told the Dispatch originally? Chris also mentioned that there would be a TBI agent inside the house, beside the parent, which that makes sense, as to keep a close eye on them. And I wonder what that TBI agent has to say about her behavior that night when she was inside that house and she didn't want to go outside and talk to them, which I find that very, very suspicious. Why would you not want to go outside and talk to the people who are trying to help you find your kid? Because this makes no sense. You called these people wanting their help. So that means the local law enforcement called TBI, of course. They stepped in. But why are you not wanting to talk to any of these people? Because now we have Don saying he trusts TBI versus local law enforcement. But yet now Allie's version is on that night that she Skyped with her, video chat, whatever, she didn't want to talk to TBI. But yet Don is rooting for TBI now. I'm confused. I don't understand nothing that people talk about. Mr. Chris says, if indeed she's under the influence, she has an addiction problem, possibly pain, opiates, alcohol, chasing the drugs with the alcohol, he says. What I'd like to know is, was she drunk that day with the child? He also believes there's no meth from his perception of watching her, talking to her, whatever, or talking to her rather. No indicators to him as far as, scratching, skin problems, that said thing. But there has been a mention that she's used it in the past. I don't know if that's truth or not. He basically was talking about people dismantling things when they are under the influence of meth. I never understood that because I never heard anything about people doing that. I'm not around anybody that uses meth, so I wouldn't know. But one point he made, somebody was asking questions in the chat about the phone situation. So see, we already said she's been talking on her phone because she called the boy that morning, texted him. So where was she when she called? 9 times out of 10 from her house. Mr. Chris called her. She answered. So that means she had a working phone. Not to say they don't have phone problems up in the holler. But you understand what I'm saying. The phone has been working for him to reach her. As I state, I believe it's possible that TBI has gotten information back from the devices, and that is why Equusearch is here. They have found something. Something has pinged off of their devices and or GPS from the automobile. Just saying. He also mentioned about the name drops during the interview, that they had to bleep out names because H mentioned some names. As I state, is this going to help the situation? Dropping names of drug dealers and said persons? Is this going to help Summer? Is it going to help all these people? Is it going to hinder the investigation? Is it going to get somebody hurt? Because now when you drop a name, that said persons know you know of them. Whether the allegation is true or not, they know you know something possibly if it's true. Could this child's life be in danger? Nobody's thinking about that. Obviously, he and his mother aren't thinking about that. So when you all say it's okay for them to talk to the public, he obviously don't care about his safety. But maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. And I'm only 50. Second polygraph test she's allegedly having to take. Why is that? Well, we got information that she passed the first one, couldn't take it, too distraught. 5 days later, takes the test. Dawn swears for God she passed, but yet she's telling the 411 to, I believe, Allie, she's got to take it again. So, Candy Bly, why are you needing to take the polygraph again? Does H regret going with her on June 15th? Thank you all for joining me. 143 viewing. I hear you, Jessica. Thank you all for joining me. Does he regret going with Candy Bly on June 15th? Does he have regrets about getting in that automobile? Now he is wrapped up in this saga pertaining to this missing baby. Does he have regrets? Does his mother have regrets? Or is she liking all this? I think she kind of likes the limelight. That's my personal opinion. I don't think she passed the first test. And I do believe they saw deception, and that's why they want her to take a second lie detector test. She had no business giving him alcohol or vape. Now she's worried, and that's why she doubled back to their house, trying to talk to him and tell him not to mention anything about her giving him alcohol. That's common sense. You a little too late, Candy Bly. You had no business giving it to him in the first place. He's a child underage, and you were contributing to the delinquency of a minor. You know better. And see, with all this chit-chattering amongst Allie, talking to everybody, it's really sad and pathetic, in my opinion. And some of you may think it's okay for all these people to be talking, but it's really sad. It's very sad. Because in the end, you don't really know the motive behind Allison Milani giving everybody the 411 pertaining to Candace Bly, the child. He said, she said, a conversation between the grandmother and she about her not wanting girl children. Yes, it puts her in a very negative light, Candace Bly. Indeed, it does. Puts her in a very negative light. Well, Chris isn't working on the case. For those that think that he is, that's just my opinion. I'm just saying, is it going to help? Because right now, everything's up for speculation. That's what I'm saying. And what I'm saying is that down the road, nobody in the chat or on the YT is going to be able to help these people when it's time to go to court, which is common sense. And you can't take back stuff you said on a YouTube channel. Because if he can't remember June 15th well, and Candace is saying the stuff he's saying is out of sequence, what I'm saying is, if indeed this goes to court, is he going to be able to remember all the stuff that he said? And naturally, the state prosecutor is going to bring up everything he said in the interview. That's what I'm saying. Basically, Mr. Chris is talking about two types of polygraph tests. One test they give, it's not, I guess it's a major test, and possibly she didn't pass, which would be the lower grade test, and maybe that's the reason why she's having to take the second one. And he's basically saying the second one comes in if indeed you failed the first one. So I'm thinking Don lied to us, and I'm going to tell you why. And this happens a lot in true crime stories, such as with Cal City. Same thing with Jacqueline Trizell. They don't know what is going to be revealed to the public. So therefore, they say anything when they're talking to the news about lie detector tests, and they told us to stay in. We don't have to go out to search. See, they're not thinking that you're ever going to find out the truth pertaining to what police told them they could and should not do. And that's the thing. They don't know what the police is going to tell us day 1, day 5. So they tell us anything. They tell us anything about why they don't have pictures of the children, because they don't think you're ever going to find out the truth. That, hey, you don't got any photos because you didn't care about your kids. They don't think we're going to find that out. Just saying. As you know, lie detector tests are admissible in court, so they're not valid by the eyes of the court, but they are tools that are used. They are tools that are used to try to see if there's deception in a person's accounts of what allegedly happened. And as I said, these people didn't expect us to ever find out what went on behind closed doors. And they weren't going to tell outsiders anything pertaining to June 15th. Why would they? They're not going to tell us anything. They tell us what they want us to know. And that's an old saying. I tell you just enough, but I'm not going to tell you everything. Someone had made a comment in his chat, but he didn't respond to it pertaining to the comments of the parents' guilt. And as I said, he's trying to build a rapport with these people, so naturally he's not giving his commentary pertaining to anything said about these people involved in the storyline. I find it sickening. This woman calling Hunter in the back of a police car. What is the deal with this kid? Because you see, whether I believe anything the parents have to say, whether I believe anything Allie or H has to say, I have to base everything on common sense, which is, why are you, what is the deal with Candace Bly and this 15-year-old? You've been confiding in this boy as if he's an adult. He is not. And even when everything came down with the child missing, why are you calling this child the night your child is missing? You should be calling other adults, friends from church, your family members. Calling a kid to say, hey, I'm in the back of a police car. I don't know why they got me back in here. What the hell is going on? This is crazy to me. Yeah, possibly Pretty K. Possibly had something going on. Because it makes no sense, this excessive chitter-chattering with a kid. It doesn't add up. It makes no logical sense to me. Something's off. Allie thinks, as I said before, Candy's responsible. For the disappearance of the child. And as I said, Chris doesn't really comment totally his opinion. But I think he's finding it hard to believe that it is a random stranger. He made that clear in the video. He doesn't think it's a random stranger. If it is, it's somebody who knows these people, had contact with the said family or the geographic region. And I concur. I believe that too. He basically said we shouldn't be talking bad about the people in the storyline. We shouldn't use names. Don't call them names. Because one day, in case the child is alive, she's found safe, she will grow up and watch all this commentary or hear the commentary and may not like what we're saying about her family, friends, herself. I don't have anything bad to say about the child. She's a child. But we all entitled to our opinion about how we feel about people. And yes, we know that calling somebody a nasty name won't solve a crime. Well, gossiping won't solve a crime either. Me listening to random commentary about who said what, is that helping solve the crime? I'm just saying. Because in the end, whether these people talk to Facebook, TikTok, this retired cop, it's still hearsay. Still hearsay. And I don't have any proof to anything that these people have said. So in the end, it doesn't matter who they're saying it to. If they were writing it on the wall, I don't know what's the truth. Yes, that was mentioned as well in the interview. He hadn't been to the house in a year, but Mr. Chris says he doesn't believe that. And I wish he had elaborated on that. Why you think he hasn't been to the house in a year? So you think he's not telling the truth about that, then I wish Mr. Chris had elaborated and said, why haven't you been to the house in a year? She's coming and picking you up, obviously. And we have to ask ourselves also, when was the last time Candace Bly had contact with Boy H and his mom before June 15th? That's something that has not been mentioned. Will we get to the truth of that? I don't know. I don't know anything, to tell you the truth. Somebody asked him in the chat, do you think they are lying? He says everybody lies. This is true. He believes it's 80-20. More 20% untruthful pertaining to what the child had to say. He kicks it up to about 30% due to the fact of all the interviews he's had thus far. But basically, he needs to talk to Candy, probably Don as well. Don't know if he'll get the opportunity, but he hopes that he does. And he needs to hear them, see them, feel them to make an adequate assertion of who's telling the truth in this storyline. And he does believe body language has played a part in the deception from what he has seen. Absolutely. He does believe that this Leslie character is a straight shooter. He doesn't detect any deception from her. And she basically just fires away. It's her type of personality. So basically, he believes this Leslie person has been truthful with her commentary. And naturally, somebody asked again about whom he thought may be deceptive in the storyline. And naturally, he won't say as not to jeopardize any relationships he's come across just yet. But what he finds interesting is the strong language used about Rose and Summer. In the commentary, and I'm assuming he's talking about Allison because that's the only person he's talked to besides her and H. What was said? Because I'm curious. I missed that part, I guess. What was said about the sister? What was said about the sister? Because I don't know. But like I said, he don't want to compromise the investigation. Very interesting. Very interesting commentary. Thank you all for joining me. If you want to donate to this channel, $ Big Angie 129 Cash App. I think somebody asked a question about the boy H, about him being safe. Mr. Chris says he is street smart, extending himself, meaning what exactly? Extending himself. Is he telling too much? Dropping too many names? I wish he had asked him about that. But he basically said, he's smart enough to know if he's intentionally wanting to throw deception up there. Well, he's 15. He knows right from wrong. So then we have to ask ourselves, is what he has said the truth pertaining to June 15th? I'm trolling back. Yes, that's interesting too about the person on the property. So that's why he's basically saying, Chris, in this interview, he's got at least 4 people in mind that may be involved in the disappearance of the child. And naturally, that is Candace, Dawn, the mystery person, and Grandma. I was going to get to that near the end. Well, and who is the mystery person? Has this person been identified? And what is their role in this storyline? This person that allegedly is supposed to be touching kids. Find that strange too. Like I said, Don told the public about that interview. They don't know what they're talking about. But like I said, Candy has not denied what H said, just that it's not in chronological order. So like I said, is she going to give us the chronological order? Because like I said, I'm trying to understand why he would lie about where he went and the order it went. That's just strange to me. So why would I lie and say I went here first, but then we found out I didn't go there first. I put that there first, but I messed up and didn't mean to say. I don't understand that. Something's off here. He has told the truth while leaving out details and adding details when helpful to help himself. That's why I'm saying possibly that's what's going on. He's souping up stuff to make himself look good. But like I said, I just don't understand why he would lie about the chronological order of where they went that day. That just makes no logical sense. Because the places are basic places. A grocery store, pharmacy, hospital, the quarry, the vape store, grocery store. So what's so incriminating about those places that you would need to lie about the order? That makes no sense to me. Well, he knows he's going to be named a snitch. He knew that when he opened his mouth. And if he's really a street person, he knew not to say that. So he's not in the street. If that's how he's claiming himself to be, he's not. Because he would have never gave up those names. Ever. Somebody brought up in the chat, the children, her older children were taken due to mess. So were they taken from her custody by the state, or did she give them up? And I also want to know, are those girl children? That's what I'd like to know. Somebody said they thought she's infatuated with H. Is she infatuated with this 15-year-old boy? Is he infatuated with her? Is he attracted to her? Has something transpired between the two sexually? Has there been some touching, groping, kissing, sexting? What is the truth? People kept mentioning about the yawning. He says basically he believes it's an ADHD tick. As far as Allison yawning, he believes she has difficulty breathing. I'm going to be quiet on that one. I didn't know people yawned when they couldn't breathe. Difficulty breathing. I don't know. I'm not a doctor, so I can't. Also was brought up about him checking up on Candy, Mr. Don. And once again, why would H be concerned about that? It's none of his business. She is a married woman. And you do find that interesting, the commentary from Don calling that morning. It's all suspicious. What are the odds a person calls their wife pertaining talking to her about a mystery person that they know. Mystery to us because we don't know him. This person's on the property. You know this person. He's been up there, allegedly, touching the kids. What kids are we talking about? Your kids, Pookie's kids, Railway kids, Bubba's kids. Whose kids are we talking about? See, I'm confused. What children are we speaking of? And if you're at work, then you can't see if the person's there on the property. So, Don, were you there that morning? Did you even go to work that day? See, I can't wait for the GPS to, somebody just please tell us something. Because I need to know. I want to know. Where were you? Because that phone call is odd. The day you call this lady, your wife, to talk about some man messing with children, we now have to ask ourselves, who's the man? What children are you talking about? Allegedly, your children were with you at work from H's version, but then before Alligator version, right, that the children were left alone because of the CPS upcoming visit, need to clean the house. What's the truth about the children? Where were the children? Where was Don? See, this is why I kept telling you, everything is he said, she said. You don't know what the hell they're talking about. Because I told you in my past video, H threw his own mama under the bus with this two-sided version of where the children were. So that means if H is to say the children were gone with the father to the job, then that means he either got that version from Candy Cane. Then where did Allison get a version that the children were left alone because of a CPS visit? Was she just throwing shade to be a smart ass, making it up to make her look bad? Because you know she's been calling DHS on her? What is the truth? All right, Ginger. Yeah, she's simple-minded indeed. Don was out helping with harm of summer, and then this fool beat the police to the house when he was far away. Yeah, okay. Don is involved, which is why he said Summer is dead or could be in Mexico. Now, I don't know nothing about him saying about Mexico. Lord, y'all please stop or y'all killing me. I hadn't heard that, baby. I hadn't heard that. But as I said, the older children that were in her custody, did she give them up for adoption willingly, or were they taken because of a drug problem? And is this when she was actually using methamphetamines, or which drug was she using? Doesn't really matter. All the drugs are the same to me. You don't got no business using them. So it's neither here nor there. But this man calling this woman on the same day his child goes missing is suspect all day long. You can't rationally explain this. It's like somebody saying to you, oh, that car has been acting up. I got in the car and I was having trouble turning it over. Are y'all listening to me? You're calling this person now, mind you. Hey, that car won't start. I tried starting the car, it won't start. And the person's, okay, what's wrong with it? I don't know, it won't start. Then you later find out somebody got in the same damn car that blew up. I'm dead. Are you listening? Car won't start. Click, 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 click. Pookie comes and gets in it, and the whole damn thing blows up. Stay woke. Thank you. 78. Amen. And even Chris questioned why he called her that day, talking about this man messing with the kids. And like I said, what kids are we speaking of? Because if you were not there, why would you out of the blue call your wife to talk about this mystery guy messing with children? So were you there or not? Did you go in the house, kids outside, the guy popped up, he was doing stuff to the kids, you saw it out the window, you saw it with your own eyes, or the kids came in and told you. So then that means you didn't go to work. What's the truth? The hell's going on with these people, man? Somebody asked about charges coming forward even without the body of Summer being discovered. Chris basically says he thinks it will take a long time because they have to wait for evidence to come back, which that's common sense. Got to have something to even bring forth a charge against the person even without a body. And yes, many states have charged people with the death of a human without the body ever being found. Indeed. Because we have fools who kill and they leave behind things that can link them to the murder, such as beating you to death, stabbing you to death, shooting you to death, and cleaning up the evidence that they thought they got rid of. But they didn't think about underneath the carpet is carpet padding, which holds all the blood. And then the blood seeps through the carpet, through the pad, down into the floorboards. And once you pull the carpet back, voila, too much blood to have a surviving person. What'd you say? Okay, pretty K. Somebody mentioned about, don't you find it odd, Candy calling H after the fact, continuously calling this boy. As I mentioned earlier, yes, it's very strange. Why are you calling this boy? Why? You trying to get your story right? You want to make sure he don't tell this, which allegedly he says that. She's telling him don't mention about her, giving him alcohol. Too late. He's told this guy. So now we got to ask ourselves, if he told Chris, did he tell TBI and the sheriff the same thing? Yeah, she bought me a Twisted Tea, bought me a vape. Hell, was she under the influence? Because allegedly he says she said she wasn't going to drink a lot because she had to drive. But how do we know she didn't get crunk after she dropped H off? I don't know. Because they're already saying, from Allison's viewpoint, she was a little crunk when she Skyped her that night after the child went missing. So who to say she didn't go get crunk when she dropped everybody off? H, let's say. She went home, got crunk in her car on her way with the kid. I don't know. Because all that time window, what happened after she dropped H off is the main question. Where did Candace Bly go after dropping H off? Was she inebriated while in the car with H, Grandma, and Summer? Who would really tell the truth that she was crunk? Would he tell us the truth? Just saying. It's crazy. Chris says it's a red flag, him calling, indicator. Something's not right. He said in the end, yes, it could be problematic. Of course it would be. Had a lot of notes. I'm so sorry. It was over an hour and a half, commentary. Somebody in the chat said, why not focus on Granny? More focus on her, question mark. And he basically said, Mr. Chris, he's keeping her on the plate. At least 4 or 5 suspects, basically. Naturally, the mystery man, excuse me. But he doesn't have enough information to go on to judge it. But she is still on the radar, Grandma. That's his bingo card for 100, he says. Somebody asked, do you think there will be someone breaking down or confessing before Summer's found? He said there could be a higher probability. Depends on how streetwise the someone is. Very interesting. And that yawning keeps coming up. Then he also said it could be a sign a person needs something they need to think about. I guess what version to give. I personally just thought he was sleepy, but what do I know? I'm not a doctor. Basically says we need to treat everybody with kindness due to the fact that the storyline we're discussing. And yes, we should, but we are also human. We are not perfect beings. And I'm not the cop. I'm not the ones investigating the case. I'm not dealing with them to try to appease to them to get them to crack. I'm just a commentator on YouTube. And on this channel, I give my commentary. So I don't have a dog in the race. So basically, I say what I want to say up here. His situation is different because he's trying to talk to these people to get information out of them. So naturally, he will not be opinionated with them as to keep them in his fold. But it is natural, as I said. He's trying to get information. So naturally, he's not going to be derogatory in his opinions about the parents, H, or H's mom. Somebody asked if the parents go out to search. He said he didn't ask, but he will next time he talks to Candy Kane. Allie says no. Allie says she didn't want to talk to the police department. Why not? As I stated before, why not? What is the big deal with this local police department? Candy Bly, explain to me, what is the issue? Thank you, honey. Hello, Shelley. How's everybody doing? Y'all talking crazy in that chat. Why, Candy Bly? What's wrong with talking with the police? You live out there. You called him before when he put his hands on you, he was drunk and crunk. That's the same people you called before. And we know in the other jurisdiction with big girl Allie, she's in cahoots good with the Kingsport Police Department. What was told to me, that had been in her house 100-some times. She ain't talking about that with Chris. Shut up, Queen. Why not? Yeah, okay. Call a spade a spade. Rogersville, Kingsport. You over here got a drunk husband that you're staying with around your kids. They were good enough to call last October 2020. Now you don't trust them. But your husband trusts TBI because he thinks the sheriff's department is trying to ring you up for something you didn't do. Yeah. Big girl over here in Kingsport, they at her house like they're going to be eating supper every damn night. She don't talk about that with Chris. Why they at her house all the time? Yeah, all right. Come on with all this nonsense. It's crazy, man. It's ridiculous. Why didn't you all go out and search? If we'd believe Allie, why did you all not go out and help? But then we also know Tim Coop said he didn't want outsiders helping, although I wouldn't consider the parents outsiders. But then in retrospect, if these people are involved, do we really want them out there? You know what I mean? Aiding. Hell no. Somebody asked, did you contact her? She contacted you. He said he contacted her. But then there was more information that's come forward. So naturally, Candy Bly wants to oblige him by giving him an info. Now, what must that information be? I'm curious. Thank you all for joining me. Somebody said something to him in the chat about Ellie apologizing to him for getting out of line about some commentary. He basically skimmed over that, acting like he didn't know what she was talking about. He's very evasive. Probably he don't really care what they're saying to think about him. Everybody's entitled to their opinion. He has a 96 probability rate of solving crimes in his past tenure as a detective. And basically he says he either knows who did it or didn't get enough evidence, but he still knew who did it. Once again, the question comes up about H going to their house, the Wells house. It hadn't been there in a year. He does not believe that's true. So what I'd like to know, Mr. Chris, why didn't you ask that? Why did you not explain why you think he may be not telling the truth about going to their house in the past year? So what we have to ask ourselves, does Allie have a car? Don't have a car? Could she not drive H out there to Rogersville? Has it always been Candy Cane going to pick up the child? Visiting this child, visiting Allie? What's the real 411 on who's been visiting whom, and when was the last time all parties visited one another? Just queries. Thank you all for joining. No working phone. Well, we know that's a lie. So why did you need to use your mother's phone, Candy Bly? Because Chris said he called you fine and you picked up. Oh, wait. Man, y'all keep listening to these folks. Let me quote a scripture since Don likes quoting scriptures. Donnie Boy, if you go to Psalms, God says, for us not to sit at the table with the wicked. So are you and Candy wicked? Just asking. But it's in Psalms. Not sit at the table with the wicked. So that means the obvious. Fraternizing with folks that don't mean you no good. people that ain't doing good. And from all this he said, she said, y'all been doing a lot of bad things. So we have to ask ourselves, why was Allie in cahoots with her in the first place? And if she wasn't in cahoots, why would she let her son ride or die with a 39-year-old woman? Stay woke. Somebody asked me, do they think the case will be solved? And he said, they solve soon. He said he has faith that it will be. He also mentioned something about the cars being, taken in for evidence. He said she has a Subaru, the Subaru counts, blah, blah, blah. But there's also been mentioned that the car that day that was used belonged to the grandmother. So what I have to ask myself, is this a setup? Was this an orchestrated crime? Because if we're to believe that Candace Bly drove her mother's car, one, why would you be driving your mother's car? What was wrong with your car? Was something wrong with your car to where you needed to drive your mother's car? What is the truth pertaining to the automobile used on June 15th? What is the truth? He also mentions about the boys being left behind and her picking up a 15-year-old instead. What's the truth to that? As he said, there's two sides. Either the boys was at work with the father, he called Candy talking about the boys being touched by a stranger, or Don went back to the house, dropped the kids off, then went back to work. He said all these are red flags, and indeed, I agree. What is the truth about the phone call and that Don made to her, and the odds that the child would go missing the same day that he calls his wife saying that some creepy crawly person is grazing their property, touching their children? And we have to assume he's talking about his own kids, because what other kids would he be talking about? Very, very suspicious. Are we talking about a two-party setup of getting rid of a child? Was this an ultimate plan to get rid of Summer Wells? This was already an orchestrated plan between Candace Bly Wells and Don Wells. They already had this ball set in motion. He knew where she was. He knew that those people were in the car, Mr. H. He set it up, the conversation, for her to repeat it back to Boy H. So could it possibly be that Boy H, you've been hoodwinked and bamboozled by your so-called friend Candace Bly? Stay woke. You see, I already know what you got going on, but I'm gonna let Pookie think, I don't know why he's calling. I don't know. Shh, be quiet. Don works for a company where Chris says, what company? We ain't had no information. He worked for a legitimate company. So what I have to ask myself, Chris, if that's true, why is he taking Candy came with him to go to a legitimate job? Because I didn't know if you was a doctor, you could take your wife and she could play the nurse. Shut up, Queen. Stop all this foolishness. Y'all know I bring the tea. I'm going to bring it to you regardless. I'm going to make it make some sense. You repeat something in my peripheral, I'm going to try to make it make some sense. He works for a legitimate company as a drywaller, but yet Chris says he works for a company, but yet on Friday you said he took her with him. I don't understand. So how can you take your wife with you? That means she would also have to be on the payroll of this company. Come on, Queen. See, I listen to everything. See, nobody inquired about that, but Queen is saying it on her own network. If it's a legitimate company, how is she helping you go to the job? Subcontractor. That have to be the only way, Maria. The only way. But that still goes back to, where are your children? Why you helping Don Wells on his job? Stay woke. Veronica says she believes it's planned. Probably took cues from the West. Yeah, somebody. Why not take off? You work for a legitimate company, subcontract work or not. Your child is missing. Why are you going back to work the following week? That has come into question. I want to thank you all for joining me. You have just stepped into the playhouse of everyday shenanigans. I want to thank you. I'm an hour and 20 minutes in for reading one person's interview on the YT. Lord have mercy. I really don't like doing that. But there were key points in that commentary, and I wanted to bring it forth. Naturally, Candace Blythe's interview will be coming up here in less than 30 minutes. Thank you, Catherine. Something foul with these people. I think most of you know this just from what I read to you. The questions that came from his chat, information that he got from H and Allison, discrepancy on Allison's part about the vape store. Like I said, this is why possibly these people don't need to be talking, because how would Allison know what store they went to? She'd have to be only getting her information from the parties inside of the vehicle. That is grandmother H and Candace Blythe. The other party is missing, so she can't tell us anything because we can't find her, Summer Wells. So what is the truth of what happened on June 15th? Where all did they go? Is it going to even be relevant of all the places they went to? We're now bickering about vape stores, the name of vape stores, Pookie's store, Ray Ray's store, who bought a drink, how many teas they bought, how many ounces it was. Does it matter? I'm just saying, does it? Because will we get to the truth of where they actually went, the time frame? And as Candace Blythe said, I can't tell you what the time was because I was having fun. I don't know. Oh, so you was having fun with a 15-year-old and your 5-year-old. Don't nobody know how long the baby was in the water because y'all was talking TikTok videos. I don't give a damn about no damn TikTok. Grow up, lady. Just grow up. Grandmama in the car talking to herself, talking on the phone, need her, picking flowers. Man, I can't keep up with this story. And yes, nobody needs to know where they are searching. And so the killers don't go back and do something to the said designated area. So don't go following these people and trying to post stuff to social media. You will not be helping Summer Wells get justice. So now you're saying Lisa says Billy was hiding up there and took her. How you take her, Lisa, with all those people in the house? I tell you all to think before you speak now. How would he get her out of the house? Allegedly, there's locks on both sides of the door. So that means he would have to walk through the house and take her out in front of the children. And Candace Blythe. Well, yes, Jules, indeed. If Don doesn't go to jail, he'll leave Candace with in time. Of course he will. And ain't no man gonna wait on no woman locked up. I can tell you that now. You usually see women waiting on men incarcerated. But a man may hold on a little while just to keep bringing visits and commissary and this and that. But at some point, you are done deal. He will move on. He will divorce you. Just like a woman divorced a man. It wasn't Billy. It was Bigfoot before it was Billy. Okay, y'all, stop it now. He does not care about the children. I don't understand the comment. No, ain't no man gonna wait on a woman that gets locked up. Because a man, most men can't hold out without having sex. It's a known fact. You got some men who can hold out, but there are men right now. You know, they're frivolous with their private parts and sleep with everything with a pulse. So imagine your good thing is locked up. It's only a matter of time he will seek shelter elsewhere. Stay woke. How you doing, Cruising Country? I want to thank you all for joining me. I got 174 in the room. God is good. I feel bad for these children. I feel bad for these children. I feel bad for Summer because my gut feeling is that that girl child is no longer whole and she's out there in that dusty wilderness, possibly not even in a whole piece. And that's a terrible thing to think of about a child or any human being, because that's not how you came here. And nobody has the right to put you out there. That's not how it's supposed to be for a 5-year-old. And I believe something sinister happened to this girl child. And if we are to believe this version of him calling this wife and talking about a mystery person roaming the property and messing with their said children, you have to think that this was orchestrated at this point, because what are the odds of your child going missing after the husband has called and said, Pookie been on the property trying to touch the damn children? Come on, y'all. Y'all did this to that little girl for whatever hateful, spiteful, deviant reason. So hell yeah, I'm gonna talk about them. This is my channel. Say what I want to say. Yeah, I think they used Boy H. He was used as the earpiece. And it can be done. People do it all the time. You see, when you have a diabolical mind, you're a sociopath, you know how to lay it up where people can say, oh yeah, they said that. He said that. He said he was on his way to 15th Street at 2 o'clock. That's what he told me. Doesn't mean they really went there, but that's what you told the person. And you told them that because you know they'll be the one to go back and repeat it. Come on, Queen. He's a walkie-talkie, that boy. I know H there. That's why he said it. You got to use logic. What are the odds, the probability of that conversation transpiring and the same day a girl child that belongs to both goes missing? And it is now almost 6 weeks to the date. What, tomorrow? Come on now. Exactly, 78. Needed to get that lie in the atmosphere. H knows it. Exactly. That's why Equusearch is back. They have found something, I believe. They will never tell us the truth because they don't have to. There was an explanation. Something was found. Something has pinged off the GPS from the automobiles used in that demographic. Cell phones. Because see, let me tell you something about a clown. A clown don't remember to not take their phone with them when they're dumping the body. Come on, Queen. That is why most suspects are apprehended. The cell phone towers. You forgot to leave your phone. You forgot to leave your cell phone behind when you went to dump the body. You went to kill somebody. You kept your cell phone on. Yes, I pray it will come out soon. I pray for this child. I pray for those 3 boys. I pray for H too, because I believe H has some issues. And it is expected for him to have issues because look at his mother. She does not carry herself in a dignified fashion. She's using her child to be a YouTube walkie-talkie. She is a YouTube walkie-talkie, social media junkie. And let me tell you something about people like that. What comes around goes around. You will falter, Miss Mulani, at the expense of selling your son to the devil. Of course they're watching YouTube. How could they not? You're giving them a reason to watch. You gave them a reason to go to Facebook, TikTok. You like this shit. And let me tell you, old saying, seek and ye shall find. So whatever you're looking for, Allison, you gonna find it. but you may not like what you find, because you're going to get your son hurt. You're going to get your boy hurt because he talked too much in that interview. And so maybe to Mr. Chris, this was an investigative tool, but in the end, it will get that boy dead. And it won't matter about a YouTube video, TikTok video, Facebook posts, likes and views, because the dead don't tell no tales. Talk too much. What he has said on that damn jukebox, get that boy killed. You see, that's what people don't understand about running your mouth. There will be a time when there's nobody around to help you. There will be nobody around to aid you. And what are you going to do when the reaper comes a knocking? There'll be no YouTubers. There'll be no chat members. There'll be no Facebook, TikTok junkies when the reaper comes a knocking. And I can tell you, big girl Allie ain't going to be able to save her son, because she might be laying side by side with her 15-year-old boy. You folks better stay woke out there. You're trying to get all this tea, but it's at the expense of somebody's head coming off their neck. So if this is investigative reporting, I'll pass. It's not a joke. There's a child missing. There are perpetrators who got her missing. You got a child telling too much information on a jukebox that could get his neck cut. Better hope for his sake he's making all that up about the drug dealer. Better hope for his sake he's making all that up. Because what is he going to do while living here in East Tennessee? Stay in the house? School is starting shortly. Got to go to school. Y'all ain't woke out there. Got to walk to and fro. Can't hide forever. And even if he goes to New York, they watch YouTube, Facebook. It's not a game. Somebody got that baby missing. And somebody's playing a dirty game with everybody out here in La La Land and the law officials. All that crying and Bible thumping and quoting Bible scriptures. Let me tell you something. Some of them folks are coming out they funk and they're realizing that something is off with Candace Bly and Mr. Don Wells. And I won't doubt that there'll be quite a few people that'll fall off from dealing with them, because they are going to start sneaking and watching the YouTube videos. They'll never let anybody know they're watching. They'll never say anything, but they're listening. They're watching. And they're going to start saying to themselves, why are all those people saying that about them? I don't think they would do that. Would they do that? Would they hurt that little girl? Were they abusing their children? Has he been molesting children, the father? Did he molest his sister, his niece, plural? What's the truth? It don't even have to be true. It's the fact that it's out there. Yes, Norma. That's what I'm saying. Allie's a part of this madness because she's the first to run the social media with the T on Candace Bly. She sold that girl out and threw her directly under the bus. But what she didn't think about was the ramifications of telling all this and selling her son for an interview. Because in the end, there'll be nobody around when the bang comes. And I believe it's coming. sadly, something terrible may happen to her and her son because they wanted 5 minutes of fame. And you got it now. So if somebody paid you, I hope every damn dollar was worth it. Every damn dollar was worth it. Because in the end, this ain't about you, H. It's about Summer Wells. And get into the truth of what happened to that poor baby. And if indeed your son is involved, the truth needs to come out. And I believe the truth will come out. Because I think somebody is leaning heavy toward these folks. So somebody probably won't be able to hold water long. Yes, God is watching. And he got this. And he's going to make sure all that's involved will go down for whatever happened to Summer Wells. And I believe that. I want to thank you all so much for joining me. God bless all of you. Any information I get pertaining to this story, I will bring it to you. I wanted to bring you this information about Equusearch. Mr. Rader is letting you all know he has faith. They're keeping the faith and searching for baby Summer. They're doing all they can on that ground, and thank God for him and Mr. Tim. And thank you, Mr. Tim, for starting this organization. God bless all of you, and hopefully you all will get a chapter that will go way out west to California. For those of you who do not know, California has the most missing persons in the United States, in the whole state of California. So they need a chapter of Equusearch out there ASAP. And perhaps, as Mr. Duty Ron said, they can help with the Cal City boys because somebody needs to help. But in that case, it's even more dire and daunting because you don't even know where to look for those missing children, because I believe those children have been gone over a year from the date that they had a report that they were missing. Thank you, Betsy. Thank you all for following me. Thank you for following the content. I do my best to bring you a source when I speak. I don't get up here and just rumble about what I heard, because that's not real news. Every blue moon, yes, I'll bring you something that is allegedly said. Said doesn't mean that it's true, because a lot of you will bring it in the chat. Well, did you hear this? Did you hear this? But I always tell you, in the end, it doesn't mean anything. Some of it may sound real. Some of it may not be real. But the problem is you don't know what is real. And that's the problem. You don't know the people carrying the bone. And that's the dangerous part of this story. A lot of bone carriers. A lot of folks collecting bones. But we don't know what is the truth. And there's a little girl out there needing to be put properly to rest if indeed she's no longer living. And I do believe this is a recovery, because common sense will tell you there's no way she could survive the elements 6 weeks in. Yes, prayers for the boys. I pray that they're in good hands, that somebody is decent in nature. They don't have any problems, addictions. They don't have a wayward tongue or attitude or disposition that is taking care of the said children, because that would be horrible to hear that the children are in worse care than these people. And one thing you have to remember with people will swear for God they are decent humans taking care of their children. You may not like how I look, how I dress, but I did the best I could. And maybe you thought you did, but sometimes your best ain't good enough. And I think a lot of people with dead children would say the same. I did my best. Did you do your best? Or did you do what the hell you wanted to do and got caught up? Now your children are out of your custody or no longer living. And how could a dead child be your best? Not never. Prayers for Chadwick Carr, 32 years of age, African-American male, missing from the foundation, Clinton, Tennessee. Deshina Kyle, 27 years of age, African-American female, missing from Knoxville, Tennessee. We're going to find you all. We're going to find out what happened to both of you. And I'm going to say this to somebody out there, because somebody put this on my community post, and I'm going to call your name out because I don't give a damn. Cindy Lowe, wherever you are, I'm going to be your worst fucking nightmare. Excuse the language. Cindy Lowe, wherever you are out there, you're going to wish I never had a YouTube channel. And you can go get a lawyer. You can go get any damn body you want. But you going to tell Chadwick Carr's family what the fuck happened to him at that halfway house. Yeah, somebody dropped a dime on you today on my channel to let me know you own the halfway house. So I'm saying this to you directly. You are solely responsible for the disappearance of Chadwick Carr. And you know something about his disappearance. And whoever you had working at that halfway house, they are complicit to the disappearance of Chadwick Carr. I don't know what you all did to him, but I'm not going to rest. And I'm going to talk about him until we find Chadwick Carr. You know something, heifer. And you should not sleep one peaceful night until the truth is revealed about what happened to Chadwick Carr at your halfway house. And I believe you know what happened. Your workers know what happened. And them filthy ass men who were there know what happened to Chadwick Carr. And so long as YouTube lets me sit up here, I'm going to ride your ass down in the ground. And I want to thank the lady who dropped your name. Cindy Lowe, wherever you are, the queen is watching. I got my eye on you. And you gonna cough up Chadwick Carr one way or the other. Tell the truth. Set your soul free. And tell us what the hell happened to Chadwick Carr in that house, outside that house. You see, some of you wanted me to go to Rogersville. I contemplated, but that's not my tea. That's not my cup of tea up in them parts. But I went in to holler about Chadwick Carr because I felt safe over there. Because it's close to people I know of. So I pretty much felt safe back up in that holler by myself. And most of you know how I rock. I sat across that railroad tracks 2 times watching that house to see what I could see of what happened to Chadwick Carr, to see what was really going on with the disappearance of Chadwick Carr. I know you did something to him. I know y'all did something to him. And you think we're going to just let it go, but we're not. I got a surprise for you. I'm going to give you what you want. I'm going to give your ass 5 minutes of fame. I'm going to give you 5 minutes of fame, Miss Lowe, until you decide you and your cohorts want to cough up the goods about Chadwick Carr. Now everybody knows your name. And they go Google because they love social media. Because I've heard some not so nice things about you from a white man on Facebook. He has some real interesting things he said about you. And I'm praying for your sake that he's a schizophrenic that don't know what the hell he's talking about. And they're not nice. They sure already know her, honey. I don't got to go tell nothing. They know who owns the halfway house. That's the police job. That's not my job. I don't give a damn about who you're connected to out there in Oliver Springs or Clinton, Tennessee. That means nothing to me. A man went missing from your halfway house and you know something, and I believe you're covering it up. And I'm going to ride your damn name and that foundation name until somebody coughs up the goods of where we can find Chadwick Carr. And I'll say that's on God. I got this. Don't worry about me. I got this. Enough for the BS. We have a little white baby doll missing out of East Tennessee. We have a black young lady missing out of Knoxville, Tennessee. And we've got Chadwick Carr missing on the other side of Knoxville from a halfway house. One shoe left in the yard, one phone left in the yard, car parked there. Where did he go? Lady, I'm gonna ride you. See, God lets everything happen for a reason. Mindy, Cindy, whatever the hell your name is, Low. Tell the truth and shame the devil. I want to thank all of you for joining me. Pray for the missing. Pray for their families. Because somebody knows something. They always do. And God don't like ugly. And the truth will be revealed one way or the other. As in this case with Summer Wells, the truth will be revealed to who all is involved. And I'm praying for Chadwick Carr's family and Deshina Kyle's family. I know a few of the relatives personally, Deshina Kyle. And they want that baby home. She's a grown woman, but she's still somebody's child. You know the scary part about these stories? And I don't think sometimes we really sit here and think about it. These people are walking out here beside us as if they ain't done something to these missing people. Did y'all ever think about that? They are walking around beside you, talking and laughing and eating, riding around, and they done got these folks gone. Hell to the no. You better be careful the company you keep. The people you laughing and snickering with. Yeah, because they got Chadwick missing, got Deshina missing, got that Summer Wells missing, got them Cal City boys missing, got all these people missing. Better stay woke. See you later, Catherine. Thank you so much. Big Sexy 71 IG. You need to contact me, and it's got to be relevant. Thank you so much for joining me. Prayers for Summer Wells, Chadwick Carr, Deshina Kyle. God bless Cal City boys as well. Amen. I want to thank you all so much. 2 years ago this month, I came to YT with content. I've been a YouTube official holder coming up almost a year. I want to thank YT for aiding the dream. Amen. Thank you all so much. Thank you, Chris Thorns, for your support. Hope you're well, getting well. Please follow Chris Thorns' content. I want to thank all of you. I want to thank the mods on deck. Thank you all so much for everything. I'm just disgusted. Because the sick part is, like I said, these people are walking by us every day as if they've done nothing. And I think a lot of people out here think this is a joke, these people missing. But see, what you don't understand, you could be a Summer Wells. You could be a Chadwick Carr. You could be a Deshina Kyle. You could be Cal City boys. You get in the wrong company, you can get gone. Don't think because you grown you can't get knocked off. There are evil people out here that don't mean you no damn good. And that is why we are now talking about every person I just named, because somebody didn't deem their life worthy. They had no value to them. But what the perpetrator don't know, there's some of us who do care. And we're going to see justice all the way to the end. It's Everyday Shenanigans. Thanks for joining me. I'll see you guys later. God bless you. Join me later for an in-depth discussion about R. Kelly, new allegations from a boy. R. Kelly, you are done. Queen gonna bring it to you live and raw tonight. Please join me later for an in-depth discussion on a new allegation against Robert Sylvester Kelly. Thank you so much for joining me. This is Everyday Shenanigans. God bless all of you. Stay safe.